Welcome to Popcorn to Go, a podcast by the Popcorn in Bed sisters. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Carly, and we are here as your below average movie experts to talk about some things movies, pop culture, all things life, daily thoughts, and more.
So grab your popcorn and come hang out with us.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being back with us on Popcorn to Go.
Hi guys. How is everybody doing? It is mid-December. Is your shopping done? Are you sprinting or limping towards the finish line of Christmas? How is your mental health mid-December? How's yours,
How's yours, Cass? Oh, jinx. I feel like mine is good. I'm done my Christmas shopping. I still have to do some assembling, but I'm done everything. And I'm feeling pretty good, not very stressed. I feel like you are maybe not in the same boat because you're sick and your voice is gone and you also have like 3 kids to, buy presents for and all that. So
I'm in the limping phase of the finish line, which I don't want to be because I want to be enjoying it. But I'm freaking sick, which is for the 5th time since October, I feel like. And, but all my Christmas shopping is done, so that is great. Nothing is wrapped or packed. We're heading to Canada for Christmas, so we literally have to pack everything. So that will be interesting. But, once I can just get past 3 class parties, teacher gifts, neighbor gifts, send out Christmas cards, finish my wrapping, packing, clean the house, then we should be good.
Oh, just that?
Yeah. So close.
Details.
Yeah. Okay. But all that aside, I'm actually really excited about today's episode.
Yes, me as well.
On the Popcorn in Bed channel last week, Carly and I did a rewatch, our first time doing that, of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And
Part 1.
Yes. If you followed the channel for a while, you'll kind of know our background with this movie, but I thought maybe we could recap it really quick, what we got to do a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Why don't you do that so I can conserve my voice?
Okay. Well, we were so spoiled and we got to go to the premiere of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning in New York. Paramount Pictures had reached out to Cassie, and I remember her telling me, and I could not believe it. I thought she was punking me. Anyways, it was 2 weeks before we shop for dresses, all the things, and then they flew us out to New York, put us up in a hotel, sent us to a fancy pre-showing party, and then that day we got to go walk the red carpet. We walked out with a little sign, and photographers are taking pictures of us, and it was incredible. And then after, we got to go upstairs, and Tom Cruise, yes, the Tom Cruise, and the director, Christopher McQuarrie, came up and talk to us. They came up to kind of meet. There was a couple other people in our situation and they came up to meet with us. But we kind of got brought up by one of the people helping manage it. And I will never forget this moment, Cassie, but Tom goes, "Oh my gosh, it's you guys, you're here." I started introducing myself and then he says that and they recognized us. And anyways, we got to hear the story about how one of the editors had showed our watching of one of the Mission Impossibles to them, and they watched it and they loved it, which was so flattering. And then they helped get us to the premiere. So we were so grateful. We had the time of our lives. And then we got to watch the movie in this big grand theater and hear all the cast and the directors go through everything. And it was just a really incredible experience.
Yeah, it was once in a lifetime. It was, well, hopefully not. I'm still campaigning to go to the second one.
Part 2.
But it really was like a dream. And the biggest surprise of our lives to, have Tom Cruise and the director of not only Mission Impossible, but other amazing movies compliment us. And you guys were hilarious. They were quoting us. I'm getting goosebumps all over again.
Yeah.
But I have to say, and we gushed about them on the video, the recap video you can go watch, but they were just so kind and not what you would expect in this ultra famous movie star. And looked us in the eye, made you feel important. And so I know people have a lot to say about Tom Cruise, but I will always be a fan, honestly. So
same. So much respect for him and Christian McQuarrie and the people they are and what they do. So yeah, feel very blessed and grateful to have that experience. So it was so fun. Like Cassie was saying though, we got to rewatch the movie. And there were still some parts, I mean, that I didn't remember and everything. So there was parts where I felt like I was watching for the first time. Plus, that movie has so many amazing moments that I feel like every time you watch it, it'll feel like the first time because it's so incredible. But we will deep dive more into that movie. But before that, we also want to do a little bit of a deep dive, or guess just our rankings of all of the Mission Impossibles. So for all you Mission Impossible fans out there, buckle up. Don't get mad at us, okay? To each their own. And so curious to see who agrees with us and who thinks we're crazy for our rankings.
Yes. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Cassie. Wait, spoiler alert. I just saw your ranking and I am upset, but we'll get into it. Okay.
Okay. So in recapping all of the movies in preparation for this, I am just remembering how much I love this series. And we had... so much fun watching all these on the channel. And it was really cool to see the, continuing of it from number 1 all the way to number 7 and how they change things and how far they've come and the, just like
the team,
smart filmmaking.
The dynamics.
Yes. Yeah. And I just love Ethan Hunt and his character, but anyways, should we do a quick recap of each movie, like one sentence, or should we just rank them? Because I feel like if I hear Rogue Nation, like I don't really remember what one that is because they all kind of like blur, because it's all just one.
I get that. Well, I will take this minute to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Movie in Minutes, because I love their little recaps. Because sometimes they do blend together and certain parts and I get mixed up, even though they're very memorable movies. But this is my shout out to that and they really helped. So yes, I can do a quick, it's funny because in my little notes, I wrote down a quick one-liner.
Yeah, I got some too. So, okay. So Mission Impossible 1 was the very first one and Phelps was our villain. He's betrayed by Klaine. This is the one where, or Claire, can't read my writing, which is the girl that you like. And then, of course, she betrays him, as so many of people do in these movies. But this is the one where the helicopter literally goes in the train tunnel. And you have that amazing scene. It's the drop down scene, right? Like the very first where he like is suspended. And then John Voight, I believe, is the actor.
I don't know if that is that one, actually.
Oh, you don't
There's
think
a couple
so?
actually suspensions, so it's tricky to know.
But that the John Voight character, who's I think his boss, turns out to be the mole. Spoiler alert. So
yeah, we should maybe be careful in the spoiler alerts just in case.
Well, we'll put this in the title, but this will be if you haven't watched Dead Reckoning or if you haven't watched any of the Mission Impossibles, turn us off. Go watch all 7 and come back.
Okay, I'm also laughing at your recaps because mine is like, okay, number 2, it was the biotech one with the rogue IMF agent and impersonations. I'm like, next.
Okay, yes. The biochemical weapon called Chimera and the girl was Naya and I actually liked her and I thought they had pretty good chemistry. So there was the scene at the cliff in the end. Okay, Mission Impossible 3 is where we meet Julia, and they get married in the hospital in this one.
Yes. And this is where like the team starts coming together. I feel like
this is where we meet Benji, which is crazy. I was like, Benji wasn't in 1 and 2.
I know, I thought that too.
But this is the Rabbit's Foot one, and the villain is Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he made a great villain.
A very good villain.
Yeah, I really liked Mission Impossible 3. You'll hear that.
Hey, you can't say that. Spoiler alert.
Okay, sorry.
Gosh. 4 was the Kremlin bombing and the Russian nuclear codes. A little bit of a new team. And we're also introduced to Brandt, who I really Hawkeye in the Mission Impossibles, and I like him too.
Jeremy Renner. Also, this is the one where they have that crazy Burj Khalifa rappelling down like the tallest building in the world, and the crazy dust storm in Dubai. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Number 5 was Rogue Nation. This is with Lane and the Syndicate. And this is where we meet Ilsa.
Yes, welcome Rebecca Ferguson.
This is where the IMF gets shut down. And so then Ethan's technically like a fugitive, and they go to Casablanca. And
we love Brandt and Hunley.
Yes. Okay, you do 6.
Okay. We get Rebecca Ferguson, Ilsa back. We get Julia. We unfortunately, well, I guess this is spoiler. It's the one where Hunley dies, and they it's freaking Lane is the villain. Yes. And it's we also get introduced to the White Widow, and they have to defuse the nuclear bombs or the nuclear cores. Yes, plutonium cores. And
our villain is Henry Cavill, the Superman guy, and he's like huge and buff. And they have the crazy fight on the cliff.
Well, yeah, because he's like the inside agent, or not the inside. Inside in the wrong way. And then they go to that remote place, and they have to defuse everything, and he gets to see Julia again, and everything comes full circle for us, you know?
Yeah. Okay, and then we won't recap Dead Reckoning because we're going to do a deep dive after our rankings. So, okay, Carly, I saw yours on our spreadsheet, and they're similar, but also different.
But also so different.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, well, actually, should we go from the last to the best or opposite?
I think we should go, let's go bottom to top.
Yeah, I don't want to say worst because they're all great. Okay, let's get that out there. They're all fantastic. But at the bottom for me is Mission Impossible 2. The biotech one with a rogue IMF agent. I don't know. I think a part of it too is because I loved the mystery and me like trying to solve everything in Mission Impossible 1. And I feel like I didn't get that as much in 2. And it was just like a little much for me. So I didn't love that one.
I think most people agree with you that that's the weakest one. It's not my weakest one,
I don't get that very often. But I love that for us.
Snaps
Thanks,
for
everyone.
You. My lowest is Mission Impossible 1.
Okay, this is the part I'm mad at you about. Also, it's funny because at the beginning of this podcast, I realized I was introing what we're going to do. And I was like, everyone, no one be mad at us. To each their own. And then 2 minutes later, I was like, I just saw your list and I'm mad about it. I loved one. So anyways, continue.
I loved it too.
Sorry.
There's no wrong answers in this, right? Like it's just maybe the one I loved the least. And the only reason I think that is because I just like wasn't as connected to the characters because I'm just getting to meet them. And so it's just the first. And this one was more of a spy espionage movie, whereas the latter I feel like are more spy action thrillers. But like I said, I still liked it. I just, I think I just wasn't as emotionally connected to them because I didn't know them as well.
All right. To each their own. I'll let you have
you're
it.
next up. You're number
okay,
5.
my next one is Mission Impossible 4, the Kremlin bombing one. Had some really great things, but it didn't, I don't know, I feel like I just didn't love the story as much. And also, I'm probably guilty. If the bad guys are too bad and too much, then I don't love that either. So,
okay. Mine's a lot higher. You're 4. Anyways, okay, so my next one below up is Mission Impossible 3, which was Mission Impossible 3. But I love this one too. It's where we got to meet Benji, and I don't know, the plot was just a little more convoluted, I guess. They're all good, but that's where I put it.
Okay, fair. Well, then that's for me moving up to my 4th favorite is Mission Impossible 3. So we were close on that one. But I still really like this one. I feel like it was 7 movies in one. And I loved the team coming together and all the things. So 4th favorite. And Julia.
I know.
We love it.
I know. Okay, the next one. So my 4th is Mission Impossible 2, which is your last. But And I've read on the internet that no one really likes that one. It was made by this filmmaker who has like very distinct kind of like dramatic slow-mos. There's a lot of like, do you remember the like scene where it's like he's coming around the corner and there's like doves flying? But like for some reason I'm into it. And I think the biochemical weapon is such like a fear of mine, like disease and epidemics and pandemics and stuff like that. So I think that villain for me was very real, and like you watch them like die on camera, and you need the antidote. And anyways, I love the scene where they like broke into the chemical place where they're producing it. Anyways, I actually really liked number 2.
Okay, well, it's funny that you talked about like it's actual fear of yours and everything, because I, was watching all the recaps of all these Mission Impossible movies. And then today at work, one of my coworkers was kind of going through all these crazy things happening in the world right now with the drones. And then Australia has, I guess, like these disease centers is now missing or something, like things from this disease center are missing. And I'm like, I swear everything he talked about, I was thinking, I saw a Mission Impossible movie about each of these things. Like, what is happening right now? So, yikes. Don't be getting bad guys out there. Don't be getting any good ideas from the Mission Impossible movies, okay?
Yeah. I didn't know that about Australia. That's going to keep me up at night. Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so my third favorite, which honestly, my top 3 were all tied for first place. But my third favorite was number 1, which is why, again, this is tied for first place, which is why I was so appalled that you put it as your last. But you described it perfectly when you talked about it was much more spy, espionage, solve the riddles kind of thing, more than just straight action. And I think that's why I loved it. I loved that my mind was working the whole time trying to figure it out. So
I remember so many comments on that reaction video. They're like, Carly gets it. Like Carly's so smart. And I'm like, oh, hey, thanks.
Well, our mom watched that one with us as well. So
yes, I mean, I do admit I'm like, huh? What? Who's he? What's that? But
I was also the intro into those movies. So there was a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. Okay, my number 3 is Rogue Nation, which is number 5. This is where we first meet Ilsa and Lane and the Syndicate and Casablanca, all the things. I think Ethan Hunt and Ilsa have amazing chemistry. So I liked the introduction to her. I liked the storyline of the stolen thing and how Tom Cruise basically had no support because IMF was disbanded. And so then he calls like Benji's like, can you help me? And Benji's like, screw the CIA, I'm with you.
Right.
And they had this one scene in there. It was at a party, of course. They love like the fancy galas and they had to like break into it. And I just thought it was one of the smartest like heist scenes ever, and how they fixed it in the bathroom and masks and all the things. I love the gadgets in those.
Yes, it was incredible. And I don't have to give a recap of my second favorite because number 5 was my second favorite. So yes, everything Cassie just talked about is all the things I loved about it. We love Rebecca Ferguson. We love Grant. We love Hunley. I feel like that was like so many parts of the team solidified, and I was just so here for it. And the perfect combination of the espionage and action.
Yes. My number 2 is Ghost Protocol, which was Mission Impossible 4. And this is the one we talked about where it's like they start in Russia, they blow up the Kremlin. Next thing you know, we're in Dubai, scaling the tallest building in the world. So I loved the locations and how just kind of hard they went on all of that. This is the one where they had to had a meeting with that one blonde girl and the
White Widow, right?
Yes, no.
Oh, no, it wasn't the White Widow. It was someone else. Yeah.
In the hotel. Anyways, I just love the dust storm. That was I remember one of the coolest action sequences I had seen, and everyone's blind. And anyways, I loved Ghost Protocol.
Listen, Tom, we are here for all the stunts you're pulling off. We are worried about it and very nervous, but here for it. Okay. Well, my number 1 favorite Mission Impossible movie out of 1 through 6 was number 6. I just feel like, yeah, everything kind of came together for me. Like I loved that we got to see Julia and she was happy and married and doing the work she loved at the end. I loved how the chemistry continues to build and just like the relationship between Ilsa and the team. And yeah, then I really like the White Widow as a villain.
I do too.
I think she does very well. So
and she's like half villain, half like you're kind of rooting for her. Like I don't know because
yes,
and she's kind of got the crazy eyes, and I like her too a lot. My number one is also Fallout, so we at least agreed on that.
Yes.
I feel like it had the perfect. I feel like this for me was maybe like the pinnacle of the Mission Impossible series, which how rare is it that the 6th movie is our favorite? That never happens. No one likes a sequel, let alone a 6th.
Yes, I feel like often they're like, oh, watch the first 2 and then you don't need the others, but this franchise just keeps getting better.
Which I don't think any other franchise has done that. So this was like the perfect combination for me of plot. Like it still had a very engaging plot and spy and figuring it out and following clues, action and character development, a little bit of comedy thrown in there. So yeah, and that ending scene where they're trying to defuse the bomb at that center is crazy. I thought Henry Cavill was a great villain, an unsuspecting villain for me. I did not see that coming. So yeah, both our favorites. Go Fallout.
Yes, for real. And I think that was so fun too to be able to watch 6 and then go in and have the experience we did with 7. Like that's where you really. I mean, if the franchise didn't have us, they had it. They had us by 6, and then such a cool experience. So
yeah.
All right, now
and we decided not to rank. We decided not to rank number 7 within our rankings because there's still a part 2. So we want to have the whole thing before we slip it in our lists.
Yes. Okay, and now, as you said, we're going to go into our deep dive. So we have a couple of different questions we're going to go through. Starting out with, who is the MVP of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning? Okay, let's just... Tom Cruise,
Disclaim.
Classic. Outside of Ethan Hunt, who is the MVP of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning? Cassie?
And the world, MVP of the world, because he just saves it every movie, and I trust him with my life. So yes, it's obviously Ethan Hunt, but we're going to pick someone else just for fun. I did Benji because for me, he's like, well, him and Luther, they're tied because Ethan could not do what he did, not even close, without his guys. And, when he's like, I need more time. And he's like, of course you do. And like, you always say, but he does. He always comes in clutch. He has like the best delivery of some comedic lines. Like they're dry, but they work. They don't take me out of it. Sometimes when they try to input comedy, like it misses for me, but not with him. I love him. And he had some of my favorite scenes in the movie. So,
okay, that's my MVP. Very good MVP. We do love Benji. Mine was Rebecca Ferguson. And if you haven't seen Dead Reckoning, stop the podcast here. But I feel like I loved her character so much. She's so BA. She's so cool. All the things that in honor of her, she has to be my MVP. Like, what a martyr. She knew what she was doing. All the things, and she still went and fought the evil guy, and I'm still mad at the franchise about that, but also she did amazing, and she saved the world by risking her life. So,
okay, you know what? I have hope that she's not really gone somehow, somewhere. Maybe like, I don't know how they would spin it, but I just love her so much.
I would love for them to do that, but this is an insider scoop. When we were at the premiere and watching the red carpet, I feel like there were moments between Rebecca Ferguson and Tom Cruise that it made me nervous. Like, this is before we saw the movie. It made me nervous that they were going to kill her.
I know.
Because there was like this tenderness and so much respect and appreciation for each other that I was like, oh no, is this her last one? Like, I know.
Are they saying goodbye? Like... I know. Yeah, she was such a good addition to the franchise. And like I said, I'm still hoping. But okay, our next category is recast roulette. So, when you watch a movie and there might be one character that just doesn't do it for you or doesn't fit. And so we thought it'd be fun to discuss who we would recast and why. So mine is Gabriel. And for some reason, I'm like, you look like a dad at a soccer game that I've seen. He just didn't have the punchable face that I want in a villain. Like, he was just too calm, or I don't know. And I know he was kind of like a playboy for the entity. Like, he wasn't the true villain. The entity is the villain. But he just didn't have I didn't hate him as much as I should have, I think. Part of it is I didn't totally understand his backstory with Ethan. But yeah, he was just too regular looking guy to me. I didn't believe him when he could like almost beat Ethan on the train and stuff.
Okay, this is funny because mine is the same. However, my reasons are the opposite.
Okay.
I feel like he was too smug, too eerie, too whatever. And I'm like, stop trying to pretend to be good when you're the most evil human that's ever existed. Like, that's funny. A part of me, I just hated how bad he was. And so I don't know if that's my like recast roulette on the
flip side.
Yeah, I don't know. Or just like
You're
him.
like, can our villain be a little nicer? Be a
but
little
for some
more
reason
tender?
he was like so smug about it that I just hated him too much.
And I feel like his smugness came across to me as almost just like he didn't truly have intensity behind his mission and vision to destroy the world. Do you know what I mean?
I don't.
I actually recast him in my head as Mads Mikkelsen, and he was the bad guy in Casino Royale. Do you remember him?
Yes,
you should
I do.
Google him. He had like an eyepiece in.
No, I remember.
But he's got like a very villain face to me, and or the villain from Outlander. His name is Tobias something. You didn't watch Outlander. But anyone who's listening and who did, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't know that I've ever hated a villain in any show or movie more. But so I think he would have been perfect for this as well. Because I was thinking of some guys and they have to like physically be able to keep up. So they can't be like Christopher Waltz or whatever, I think. Because I don't know why. He would be great on the dialogue side of things, but maybe not the fighting side of things. So those were my picks to replace Gabriel. Sorry, Gabriel.
Yeah, you still did a great job, but
Yeah.
you love to hate him or whatever on the villain side. Okay, next up, best line.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, I have 3. Whoopsies, but I have an ultimate best one. But just a couple shout outs, honorable mentions were when Haley and Grace in the movie, she goes, you can't blame a girl trying to make a dishonest living. And it was like such a fun little delivery, just little quip, but I just love it when she just slips in the dishonest living part.
You can't blame a girl for trying to make a dishonest living.
And then my second shout out is, I think it was just like the whole character transformation when she's dressed up as the White Widow and she goes to sell the key and she just says, and she pulls it back and says, I just had the strangest feeling I'd be selling more than this key. And I was like, oh, she's good inside, this little pickpocketer, you know?
And I feel like that line is where she finally commits to like being on the team. Because like for a second, she was like, okay, I'm taking this money and I'm out of here.
Yeah, she was leaving Tom
Yeah.
any chance she could. But then my most favorite line, so this is my actual best line, is with Benji and Ethan Hunt. And Ethan Hunt's riding his motorcycle or dirt bike or whatever up the mountain. And he's like, when do I start going downhill? And Benji's like, soon. But really the only downhill he's doing is literally jumping off a cliff. So I thought it was hilarious.
When do I start going downhill? It won't be long.
Yeah, that's Benji for you. That was a great moment. Okay, my best line is when Ethan is talking to Grace and Luther and him and Benji are kind of trying to convince her, like, she's like, why do you guys do this? And he's like, well, we promise we'll keep you safe. And Ethan's like, no, we can't. And like, he's thinking about Ilsa. And he's just like, but I promise you that your life will always matter more to me than my own.
Your life will always matter more to me than my own.
And I'm just like, he's felt that way about, he's known Grace for like 10 minutes and she tries to always run away from him. And he's still like, your life will matter more to me than my own. And it always has. His friends are his biggest weakness because he loves them so deeply and he's so loyal to his people. So I love that one. I also love Kittredge's line. And it was a callback, and Kittredge was in the first movie, obviously, and this line was in the first movie, but he says, our lives are the sum of our choices, which is very profound from Kittredge, or I don't know if that's his
Words to
actual
live
name.
by, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, our next category is prop or outfit you would want to steal from the movie. What's yours?
The face machine.
The mask making machine.
Yes, yeah, the mask making machine. Craziness with all the voice things and everything. I'm like, just kind of want to try it out, you know?
The world is your oyster. Who would you impersonate?
So many different people. I feel like I would just kind of want to try it out, like try out different personalities for once in a while and just kind of see what I could get away with. I wouldn't want to do anything actually bad. I just kind of curious about it all.
I mean, yeah, I would be Hailey Bieber for a day for sure. Just, check in on Justin, see how he's doing, give him some positive affirmations.
Yeah.
But the mask machine broke in this one, so you'd have to get that fixed. And I feel like those people who fix those would be hard to find. So,
Right. Well, I take the prop pre-breaking. So.
Okay, deal. I'll allow it. I'm gonna go with Ethan Hunt's leather jacket because it is a icon all on its own. It's carried us through all 7 movies. He's worn this leather jacket, and it's going to be worth millions once this franchise is officially over. And the dad leather jacket is very in, so that's my prop.
I feel like that
steal.
jacket's been through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, nuclear. Yeah, all the things.
All the things. Okay, for me, best side character. The White Widow.
Yeah,
she's legit. And I like that she's not the main villain here. And so it's okay to like her a little bit. She's smooth. She's running her organization, the world, all the things. So she's legit.
Yeah, she's like this international arms dealer, but like she just also feels like she could be your friend. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like so
friend.
posh. And I'm like, how do you talk like that all the time and just be so smooth, Yeah,
and we talked about it in the reaction, but like she had to play someone playing her, and she did such a good job. Like when you think about it, like of making you feel like this was someone impersonating her, which would be hard to act out. So I think, she's bomb. My favorite side character was Kittredge. Actually, part of it is nostalgia because, we meet him in number 1 and he's got this such distinct voice. He like kind of talks out of the side of his mouth and I like it. And, as hard of a time as he gives Ethan, deep down he respects him and loves him. So, and I think vice versa.
Yeah.
Ethan likes him too, even though, they give each other a hard time.
That's fair. Okay. And then next question, is this rewatch worthy? And for me, this is a rinse and repeat. I feel like I said this at the beginning of the podcast, but this is a movie I feel like I could watch every year and still feel like I'm watching it for the first time because there's so many incredible things and so many little things that I feel like I'd pick up on. Like I feel like I understood it a lot better the second time. And so
Same.
I feel like I would keep continuing to pick up on little things. And there's just so many crazy moments. I'd be like, I can't believe this is happening. Like I still think my hands would be sweating in the train scene every time. Yes.
I think it's very rewatchable. I liked it even more the second time, which isn't usually the case. And although it is pretty long, so that would be my only hiccup to doing rewatch very often. But like you said, there's so much to catch. And I feel like the tone for number 7, do you feel like it was they like switched it up a little bit? They're like, let's have maybe a little more fun. Like it was almost more like wacky with the silly car, not silly, with the car chase all through Rome, like going down the stairs and like they look at their car and it's like this tiny little, what are those cars? Mini Coopers? No, they're like a Fiat. It's like a Fiat.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's driving handcuffed and it's kind of,
it was like fun.
Yeah.
It was fun chaos.
I feel like they kind of switched the tone a tiny bit, and I'm okay with that because they've been doing this for so many years. I think they needed to add something fresh, and I feel like the tone kind of shifted a tiny bit with the in number 7. Sorry, that was off. What question are we on? Rewatchability. Yes. Okay. So, anyways, that was my little side thing. But last question was. Any swing and misses. Okay, you go first.
Listen, just Rebecca Ferguson dying. She's just so cool. Like,
I know.
She's such a cool girl in the group. And so I just really loved her and miss her. And although she's the MVP because of how cool she is and because of her martyring, I'm like, did you have to do that? Like, I feel like you could have figured something out. And then my other little miss is the White Widow's bodyguard. Maybe it's her brother. I didn't really know, but I just don't love him. So, yeah.
Yeah. He could have been like any mid-30s actor for me. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, mine is also Ilsa. They were building the chemistry for like 3 movies. And I loved Haley Atwell and I loved Grace's character, but I felt like they almost had to trade them. And I'm like, couldn't we have both? Because I was really thinking that the payoff between this chemistry building was going to be Ethan and her like falling in love and Ilsa. And so it hurt because I feel like they focus so much on Grace and Ethan, and I'm just the whole time still kind of grieving.
Same.
And they had that moment like where he like they're out on the balcony and she like slips his hand in her jacket and they just kind of like stare out at Venice together and she's like, I've never been here, and I just want them to be in love and get married.
And I said this in the reaction as well, but I feel like the first time I watched it, I had a harder time with Grace's character because I was mad it wasn't Rebecca Ferguson.
Same.
And then the second time, I think because I was a little bit more prepared or whatnot, I could appreciate the great job that she did. But I was just like bitter the first time. So sorry,
I 100%
Haley.
agree with that. And my only other swing and a miss was just the entity being AI, which is like very real time scary. It's just, I guess it was harder for me to hate it because it didn't have a face, and the face it did have was Gabriel, and I didn't even like him. So like when I think about past villains like Henry Cavill or Philip Seymour Hoffman or even that blonde guy with the glasses, what was his name? He was like a little bit scary.
Lane.
Like, yeah, he was frail, but he was so evil and such a punchable face. So I guess it was just like harder to be scared of the entity because it was so abstract.
Yes. I get that. That's fair.
But I am really curious to see part 2. And now they have to go literally find the sub in the bottom of the ocean to, oh man.
And I think things will be wild in the best way. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that is our Mission Impossible franchise deep dive rankings of 1 through 6, and then our deep dive into Dead Reckoning Part 1. So this is also your shout out reminder of how great those movies are, and go rewatch them because all of them are very rewatchable.
Yeah. This series is just iconic, amazing. Even people, girls I know that don't love action movies, they're like, oh, but I love Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Because I think it is like plot driven and character driven and has some amazing action. So
yes. Yeah. I think it's my favorite action movies, like action franchise. Yeah, for sure. It's my favorite, I think.
Yeah,
So I said it.
I think it's up there for me. I'm on the spot, but Lethal Weapons and this are up there for me. Okay, so that's it of this part. But should we do our highlight and low light?
Yes. Okay, we can start with low lights. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go?
I'll go first. My low light. Okay, if you have little ears by chance listening, turn this off, or, Christmas spoilers ahead. So, but it's the freaking elf on the freaking shelf. Oh, you guys, it's like the kids love it, but it is every parent's nightmare because I literally have been in bed so many times this week. I'm under my heated blanket. I'm almost asleep and I'm like, the freaking elf. We have to move the freaking elf. And then it's hard because they go to school and they're like, what'd your elf do? And it can't just be like, oh, it moved from the floor to the fireplace. It's like, my elf was making cookies and there was 12 little tiny miniature cookies for us in the morning. And I'm like, we're setting expectations too high. So every night I'm like Googling elf ideas, and it's just causing me a lot of anxiety, and it's creepy little face, but it's magical for the children. So you do what you got to do.
I remember when you were like, I'm not doing that. That's too much. And then here we are. But you're a great mom, so good job. But it's funny.
Because they go to school and they all talk about their elves. They're like, why don't we have an elf? I'm like, well, good question.
You skip this
because they're all sold out.
Yeah. Okay, my low light was I was like half sick over the weekend, and a part of it could be a highlight because I wasn't actually very sick, but I have a deep fear of getting other people sick. And so I was like, I kind of feel fine, but I could have something. I don't really know. And so I stayed home from a lot of things, and that was just sad. And I had FOMO and missed out, but I was grateful I didn't get people sick, but also I was sad about it. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like I am sick because people send their kids to school sick, or so I'm thankful that you stayed in. That's the kind thing. Come on, especially like before Christmas. No one wants to be sick at Christmas, and we've been sick the last two, so hopefully this is over by then.
Okay, what's your highlight?
Okay, my highlight is a book that I read. It's got a weird cover, and I wasn't really drawn to it, but people kept raving about it on the internet. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it. It was called The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. And it was kind of like Knives Out meets a romance meets like an old school mystery novel. And there was a great love story. It's the enemies to lovers trope. But there was like this murder mystery weaved throughout, and it was Christmas themed, and it was nice and short. And I was like listening to it on an audiobook, and sometimes I have a hard time with audiobooks, but they had double narrators because I don't really like when the girl voices the guy and the guy voices the girl, but they had a man and a woman doing it. And I was like cleaning my house and listening to the book, and I just like kept catching myself like smiling as I was cleaning and listening. So that was a fun book. If you're looking for a light Christmas romance, check out The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year.
I just got that one on Audible per your suggestion, and I'm very excited to listen to it.
Yay! Maybe on your drive, on your long drive.
Exactly. That's what I'm saving it for. My highlight was... this week, just a lot of my closest best friends have moved away in the past few years, and they're all in Utah this week. And so I just love that. I got to see one of them last night, and I see a couple more this weekend. And so I am so excited.
Oh, that's so happy. Girlfriends are chicken soup for the soul. So I'm glad you get to meet back up with yours.
Yes. All right. Well, everyone, think about your lowlights and highlights, but make sure, even if you're having a hard time, think of a highlight, because I swear by it. Look for one good thing. And then other than that, thanks so much for joining us on our Mission Impossible deep dive.
Yeah, that was fun. Okay, guys, give us your rankings of the films and maybe your arguments for why you were right or wrong in the Patreon comments. We love to see those. And thanks again for joining us.
Okay, appreciate you all. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with this sisterly duo. If you enjoyed listening with us, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform, leave that beloved 5-star review,
and join our Patreon for bonus content and to be part of the popcorn community.